The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was the most powerful room in the galaxy. It was a place where stars burned or were saved with just a few words. Today, that room was filled with over 200 alien species. Some were tall and glowing. Some were small and covered in fur. Others were made of metal or gas. They all gathered in tall, curved seats, looking down toward the floor, where one species was finally allowed to stand humanity. The humans had waited many years for this moment. For decades, they had asked to join the council. Every time, they were rejected. Too new, too warlike, too unpredictable. That's what the council always said. Most of the older species looked at humans with amusement or fear. Some called them violent apes. Others said they were a mistake of evolution. But today, Earth had finally been given permission to send a representative. A trial meeting. 5 minutes only. The doors to the council chamber opened. Every head turned. The human representative walked in alone. He was not tall, not strange, not glowing. He was just a man, dressed in a simple black suit. In his hand, he carried a small black box. Whispers moved like waves through the chamber. That's it? One human? He didn't even bring guards? Where are their machines? They must know they don't belong here. And the man did not react. He walked slowly to the center of the hall, where a single circle of white light waited. He stepped into the light, placed the black box in front of him, and looked up. There was silence. Then a voice echoed through the room. It belonged to the high speaker of the council, an old, tall alien with silver skin and 4 arms. Earth, you have 5 minutes. Speak. The man nodded once. Then he pressed a button on the black box. The lights in the chamber dimmed. Projection appeared in the air above the box. It showed Earth, but not the beautiful parts. Not the green forests or blue oceans. No, it began with pain. War, cities burning, explosions, screams, tanks rolling. Mushroom clouds, gasps filled the chamber. The video kept going. Disease, hunger, riots, revolutions, corruption, assassinations. Many. Aliens turned their faces away. Then the images changed. Now they showed hope. People helping each other in disaster. Soldiers carrying children. Scientists building cures. Astronauts reaching space. A blind girl hearing music. A boy building a robot with scrap parts. A woman standing in front of tanks. Hands holding hands. Eyes full of fire and love. The music swelled. It was soft but strong. The piano, simple. And human. Then came the voice. The same human man speaking now. We are humanity, he said. We were born in fire. We grew through pain. We fought each other. We nearly ended ourselves. But we learned. More images. The moon landing. Mars colony. Humans shaking hands with aliens for the first time. Laughing, trading, exploring. We are not perfect, the voice said. But we are survivors. We do not give up. We do not back down. We never stop moving forward. The final image showed Earth, turning slowly in the darkness of space, quiet, blue, alive. Then the screen went black. The human man pressed the button again. The lights returned. The entire chamber was silent. The high speaker blinked. Is that all? He asked. The human nodded. Then he said only one sentence. We came here not to beg, but to warn you. And then he walked away. No guards followed. No weapons were shown. He simply left the box behind and walked out through the same doors he entered. The silence in the chamber grew heavier. Some aliens looked at each other, unsure what they had just witnessed. Others remained frozen, still, seeing the images in their minds. No one spoke. Then, from one of the high seats, an old reptilian alien stood slowly. His species had lived for tens of thousands of years. He had seen many wars, many enemies, but now his voice shook. That ... was not the behavior of a weak species. Still no one said anything. Far above them, the stars kept burning. The grand hall of the council, for the first time in 1,000 years. There was fear, and it had a new name: humanity. The council chamber stayed quiet long after the human left. The black box still sat in the center, small and silent. Some members stared at it as if it might explode. Others looked at each other, confused. This was not what they expected from Earth. For many years, the council had shared stories about humans. Most of them were jokes, stories of wars, anger, noise, and fire. Aliens laughed about how humans fought each other over borders, beliefs, and resources. Some called them the angry children of the galaxy. Some just called them dangerous now. Those stories didn't seem so funny anymore. That night, in a private room deep inside the council building, several species gathered. They were the archivists, keepers of history. Their job was to study new species and decide if they were safe or dangerous. They'd been watching Earth for over 300 years. A large blue alien with glowing skin spoke first. "I have studied 10,000 years of human history. It is filled with war, death, and destruction. They have used weapons against each other more than any other species." A small insect-like creature clicked its jaws. "Yes, but they survive. Again and again. Even when they should not." "How is that possible?" "They learn fast," said another. "And they adapt even faster." They played old footage. Human armies marching through fire, people rebuilding cities after disasters, children learning to use machines older than their parents. They watched humans lose and still keep going. They watched humans cry and then stand up again. The insect creature looked confused. How do they keep hope even after so much pain? No one answered. Then an older alien with metal plates instead of skin unlocked a hidden file. It was marked Eyes Only, Level Omega. The others leaned in close. The file played a secret video from 200 years ago. Showed a council agent speaking to a group of elders. "Earth is too dangerous to be contacted," the agent said. "They grow stronger with every mistake. They're not stable. They're not ready." "Then stop them," said one of the elders. Quietly, that file ended. Another began. It showed Earth's first space mission to leave the solar system. The ship disappeared. Everyone thought it was an accident. But the truth was different. The council had destroyed it. Quietly, silently, so Earth would not know it was not alone. They tried again. Each time Earth got closer. And each time someone from the council made sure to slow them down, hide the truth, keep them small. The archivists watched in silence. "We tried to keep them weak," the metal-skinned one whispered. "And they still made it here." "They didn't just survive," the insect said. "They grew stronger." The blue alien added, "Maybe we made a mistake." Across the galaxy, news of Earth's appearance in the council spread. Some species laughed it off. "Just humans being dramatic," they said. But others started to worry. On a planet far from the council, a warlord who had once fought humans watched the video. He had scars from that war. And he remembered the humans well, not just their firepower, but their spirit. "They don't stop," he whispered. "They never stop." Meanwhile, the human ambassador returned to his ship. He sat alone in the control room watching the stars. A voice came through the comms. "Was it enough?" the human general asked from Earth. The ambassador smiled. "They saw what we wanted them to see. Do they understand now? They will." Back in the council building, the high speaker met in private with his advisors. "What do we do now?" one asked. "We gave them 5 minutes," another said. "And they used it better than we expected." The high speaker looked at the black box still sitting in the council chamber. "They didn't threaten us. They didn't ask for anything. But they warned us," said his advisor. The high speaker nodded. "Yes, and warnings from species like that ... are never empty." Late that night, a message arrived at the council's security center. It was short, from an unknown source. It said, "You tried to stop us, but we learned from you now. We are watching." No name, no trace. But everyone knew who it was from. For the first time, the council realized Earth didn't come to join them. Earth came to show them what comes next. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, a new fear was growing. Not because Earth was violent, because Earth was strong, but because Earth was not afraid anymore, and that kind of species changes everything. Long before the human ambassador walked into the council chamber, Earth had already tried to be part of the galaxy. What most species didn't know was that Earth had sent messages for over 100 years. Simple messages, peaceful ones. They had asked to join, to trade, to talk. But no one answered. In secret meetings, the council had decided long ago Earth was not ready. That was the public reason. The real reason was much darker. 2 centuries ago, a small Earth probe had passed close to the outer edge of council space. It was unarmed. It was just looking for signs of life. The council warship destroyed it. No warning, no contact. Just gone. Earth never found out who did it. But someone on Earth noticed the silence. A young scientist named Ilya Cross. She had been tracking alien signals for years. And when her satellite picked up a strange burst of energy, the day the probe vanished, she saved the data. Others ignored it. But she didn't. Years later, another Earth ship vanished. And another. It's always near the same area of space. Ilya became obsessed. She spent her life connecting the dots. By the time she was 70, she had proof. Someone out there was stopping Earth from reaching the stars. And she wasn't the only one who. Noticed quietly, without telling the public, Earth began a different kind of mission. Not to explore, but to observe. Spy ships were sent out, hiding behind moons, floating near strange signals, and what they found was shocking. Some council members had been working for centuries to keep Earth isolated. They blocked messages, jammed signals, even destroyed probes. All in secret, they called it containment. They believed if Earth reached the stars too soon, it would bring chaos. But Earth didn't react with panic. It reacted with silence. They started planning. Earth created a hidden division project, Blacklight. Only a few world leaders and scientists knew about it. Their job? Learn everything about the council, its politics, its weaknesses, its secrets. They didn't try to fight back. Not yet. They waited, and they watched. Now back in the present, inside the council. Whispers were spreading. One alien leader, old and wise, spoke with a deep voice. Earth never forgot we ignored them. They never forgot the ships we destroyed. Another alien, nervous, said, "But how did they get here? It's past all our traps." The high speaker looked down at the black box left by the human ambassador. "Because we taught them how." Everyone stared. The high speaker continued. "We thought we were hiding from them, but they studied us while we tried to block them. They learned everything." A young council member, bird-like and proud, asked, "Then why come now? Why show themselves now?" No one answered. But far above them, in a hidden room near the top of the council tower, a small screen turned on. It showed the Earth ambassador. Already back aboard his ship, now in orbit, he stood in front of a window. Looking out at the stars behind him was the black box, but not the same one he brought into the council. This one was still closed. A voice asked, "Do they suspect?" The ambassador shook his head. "No, not yet, but they will." "Are you ready?" "Yes," he said. It's time they understood. Dumb back box began to hum. Back on the council floor, the original box still sat in the center. Someone finally dared to approach it. A robot drone scanned it. No weapons, no danger, it reported. So they opened it. Inside was a small device. It had a screen, just one message. It said, "This is not the box you should fear." For anyone could speak. Every council screen turned black then. A new video started playing. It showed images of council warships destroying human probes. Secret meetings. Maps of hidden communication hubs. All taken from council records? Impossible, someone whispered. "This is classified," shouted another. Then the human voice spoke again. "Your secrets are no longer safe." The screens went black again, and then silenced all across the galaxy. Species started receiving strange messages. Each one came from unknown sources. All said the same thing. "We reached the stars without your help. Now, we decide who follows us." Back in the tower, The human ambassador sat down. He pressed a button. The real black box. The second one began recording again. "This isn't war," he said. "This is balance." The stars outside twinkled quietly, and in the center of the galaxy, the council finally understood. Earth had never been locked out. They had broken in. And now, they were inside, far away from the council's tall towers. On a quiet and cold planet, a group of old alien scientists sat inside a hidden lab. These were not normal scientists. They worked in secret for the Elders, the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy. These scientists had built something long ago, something dark. It was called Trial World 9. Trial World 9 was made as a test. A planet filled with storms, volcanoes, dangerous animals, freezing winters, and deadly heat was created to study how new intelligent species survived. The Council wanted to see which species could last the longest. They believed only the strong should reach the stars. Most species failed in less than a year. Some survived too. The record was 4 years held by a species from the Delta Ring. They were smart, careful, and peaceful, but even they were wiped out by Trial World 9's harsh nature. Now, the scientists looked at a glowing screen showing the data. One of them, an old creature with thin skin and wide eyes, pointed to a new file. "There's been a mistake," he said. "Look at this." Another scientist leaned in. "Earth, yes," the first said. They were not placed on Trial World 9. They were born on a real planet. They stared at the screen. Mountains, hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires, predators, poison plants, freezing poles, boiling deserts. The young assistant gasped. "It's worse than Trial World 9. The old one nodded slowly. "Much worse. And they survived. It's not just for a few years, but for thousands." They checked again. The numbers didn't lie. Earth's environment was harder than any test planet ever created. But humans didn't just survive. They built cities, flew into the sky, dived into oceans, reached space. They beat the test. One whispered, without even knowing it was a test. The scientists sat in silence. Then one of them said something no one wanted to hear. "If this is true, didn't create the strongest species." The others looked at him. "We woke it." Back at the council, a private meeting was taking place. The High Speaker sat with 3 of the oldest members of the council. They found the data. One said, "They know about the tests," said another. The High Speaker didn't answer. He was watching a video, a simple one, like a clip of a human running into a burning building to save a stranger. He watched it over and over. "They are not like the others," he finally said. "They are too violent," Elelda replied. "They are too brave," another added. The High Speaker leaned forward. "They do not quit. That is what makes them dangerous." One of the elders tapped the table. "Then we should act now, end them before they rise further." "No," the High Speaker said. "That would be a mistake. They've already spread. They're already part of the stars." Outside, in deep space, a small council patrol ship picked up a strange signal. They followed it to an old Requan of the first human exploration ships destroyed long ago. But something was different. Inside the wreck, they found cameras. Hidden ones. Still recording, the ship had been turned into a trap, and now it was watching them, back on Earth, deep under the oceans. Inside a base known only as Echo Black, a group of human strategists studied council patterns. They knew every ship, every flight, every meeting. One general pointed to a screen. "They're panicking." "Good," another said.
Got them.
A scientist adjusted her glasses. The old council thought Trial World 9 would break us. Right. Earth trained us to survive anything. She showed pictures. Volcano destroying a city. A hurricane slamming a coast. Ice ages. Global wars. Famine. Disease. Nuclear fire, and yet humanity always came back stronger. "They gave us nothing," she said. "We built everything." And she looked up. "And now we'll decide who joins the stars next." On a faraway moon, a young alien watched the human video in secret. He had always believed the council. He had been told humans were dangerous and unworthy, but now he saw something different. Not monsters. Not villains. He saw survivors. Fighters. Dreamers. He whispered to himself, maybe they're what the galaxy needs. At that same moment, across many systems, ships carrying human ambassadors moved quietly. They didn't bring war. They brought knowledge, medicine, tools. But they also brought something else, a mirror, a way for the galaxy to see what humanity really was, not just warriors, the final test, and Earth had already passed it. The Council still didn't understand. They saw the weapons humans made, the machines, the bombs, the missiles in space, and they thought this is what makes them dangerous. But they were wrong. The real power of humanity was not in there. Weapons, it was in their minds. On a peaceful green planet far from Earth, a small council outpost watched a strange video. It showed a group of human children sitting in a circle. They were laughing. One child had built a cardboard robot. Another was drawing a spaceship with wings like a dragon. One girl spoke softly, telling a story about a world with flying cities. And talking stars, the aliens watching were confused. Why are they wasting time? One asked, "This is not training. This is play." But an older alien, wise and quiet, leaned forward. "No," he said. "This is something else. Watch again." They did. The children imagined wars, peace, monsters, heroes, strange planets. They dreamed of things that did not exist. Yet, and even stranger, humans often made those things real. The older alien spoke again. They do not just survive, they create. In a research center near Earth's orbit, human scientists worked on something new. Not a weapon, a machine that could grow food on any planet. Another lab was creating medicine that healed all known alien diseases. Another was building a small, quiet engine that could take ships to other galaxies. The Council saw these things and grew nervous. "Why are they helping us?" one alien leader asked. "Because they can," another replied. "And that is the part we should fear." Back on Earth, in a large classroom filled with students, a teacher wrote 2 words on the board. What if? She turned to the class and asked, "What if we could breathe underwater?" A boy raised his hand. "We'd build underwater cities." Another girl smiled. "What if we could walk on stars? Then we'd build roads between them," someone said. They laughed. They dreamed. They imagined. And that was the secret. Humans did not just adapt. They believed they could change the rules. They looked at impossible things and said, "Why not?" And many times, they were right. Back in the Council, a new problem began to spread. Some alien species started copying human ideas. They began building schools like Earth's. They taught their children art, games, and imagination. The Council didn't like it. They tried to stop it. But it was too late. The idea had already escaped. A whisper moved through the galaxy. Humans dream of impossible things, then they make them real. The high speaker watched videos of human artists painting the stars, writers creating whole galaxies in books, children building cities in the sand. And then he saw something that shook him deeply. A group of blind children in a human school learning music. They couldn't see the world, but they were making it beautiful anyway. The high speaker whispered to himself, "This is not something we can fight with ships." In a dark room inside the Council Tower, a few angry members met. "They are spreading too fast," one growled. "They don't follow our order. They don't respect the old ways." Another slammed his hand on the table. "They're changing everything. Even our own people are starting to listen to them." A third leaned forward. "And maybe it's time we remind them who's in charge." But just then, the lights in the room flickered. A new screen turned on. A human face appeared. Calm, clear. Watching, the voice spoke slowly. "We are not here to destroy your council. We are here to offer a choice." The angry alien stood up in shock. How did they? The screen flashed. It showed a map. Every council base, every ship, every communication path. "We could have taken everything," the voice said. "But we didn't, because what we bring is not control." Another screen lit up. It showed books, music, inventions, peace. "What we bring is change." And then the voice added, We don't fear the darkness. We were born in it. We learned to carry light. The screen went black. Back on Earth, the human ambassador sat in a quiet room. He held a paper drawing from a child. It showed Earth holding hands with many alien species. A general walked in. "They're scared of our weapons," he said. The ambassador shook his head. "No, they're scared of our minds." He placed the drawing down, and they should be. The council was breaking, not in war. Not from bombs or battleships. It was breaking from the inside. Some members now questioned the elders. Others listened to humans. Few even started building their own alliances with Earth, in secret. Earth had already made contact with over 30 alien species. Quiet talks, shared knowledge, promises. They didn't ask for power. They offered something better, a future, and the galaxy was listening. The elders saw it. The oldest race in the council, silent for centuries, now sat in shadows and whispered. To one another, they had ruled through fear, through control. The fear no longer worked. Humanity had changed the rules. A group of elders called a hidden meeting with the High Speaker. "They must be stopped," one said. "They are waking the others," said another. "They break the old order." The High Speaker remained calm. We denied them, we mocked them, but they rose anyway. "They think they are strong," an elder hissed. "Let us remind them what true power is." The council began to prepare. A response. Ships gathered near Earth's sector. "Training fleet," they said. "Just routine." But Earth saw everything inside the mountains of Mars. Deep in a red cave lit by machines, a human strategist watched the data. Her name was Ren. Bale, she had been part of Project Blacklight for 20 years. She smiled. "They're moving," she said. "Just like we planned." Back on Earth, a council spy ship floated in the clouds above. It was invisible, silent, hidden inside the storm. Inside it, a team of alien agents listened to Earth's signals. One signal was strange. Quiet, a soft song, barely above a whisper. They followed it. It led them to an orbiting satellite. Small and cold, the satellite opened. Inside was not a weapon, but a message. "Welcome, we've been expecting you." The alien agents tried to shut it down, but it was too late. The satellite sent a beam of light into space. Signal. A command, and across the galaxy. Something woke up. In the space between Council territory and Earth's colonies, old ships turned on. Ships no one had ever seen. They didn't look human. But they weren't alien either. They were something. New, built in secret. Hidden for years. Waiting. Inside one of the ships, a human voice whispered, "Phase 2. At the same moment, deep beneath the council tower, a vault door opened. One of the council's hidden servers shut down. Another began to melt. Their own systems were failing. "They've breached our core," one officer shouted. "There, inside the council's network," someone screamed. "Cut all connections! Shut it down!" But it was already too late. Every council screen turned black. Then the symbol appeared, a burning star held in a human hand. The message was simple. "You controlled us from the shadows. Now we shine where you cannot." The elders panicked. "We must strike now," they said. But their ships were blind, their systems frozen. They had walked into the trap. The human ambassador stood once again inside the council chamber. This time, did not come alone. Behind him stood a line of other beings, aliens. From many races, some were former enemies. Others had left the council days ago. Now they stood with Earth. The High Speaker stared at the ambassador. "What do you want?" The human answered calmly. "We want nothing. We offer something." The High Speaker narrowed his eyes. "A threat." The human shook his head. "A chance." He stepped forward and placed a new box in the center of the floor. "This is the real box," he said. "The one you should fear or understand." He pressed a button. Images appeared. Not war, not weapons, but new cities, shared science, united, colonies, peace. The ambassador looked up, his voice steady. "You tried to stop us, so we learned how to stop you. You tried to hide the truth, so we became the truth. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We want to free it. The council chamber was silent. One elder stood, face pale. You mean to end us? Ambassador's eyes were cold. No, we mean to replace you. And behind him, the stars shifted. Human ships, new ones, big ones, faster, smarter, and not just human ships from other races. Now loyal to Earth's vision, the galaxy had changed, and Earth was now at the center. The council chamber was full again, but this time it was different. There was no laughter, no mocking. No whispers of primitive or too young. There was only silence. Heavy, waiting, every seat was filled. Not just by council members, but by watchers, observers from every corner of the galaxy. The air felt like it could break from the pressure. The human ambassador stood once more in the center. He looked calm, quiet, but his presence now carried weight. Even the elders didn't interrupt him. A soft voice echoed through the chamber. It is time, said the high speaker. The vote was about to begin. The council had one last choice. Keep Earth out or bring them in. But the truth was clear. Earth had already stepped in. The question now was, would the galaxy stand with them or be left behind? One by one, hands began to rise. The first vote was from a small aquatic species. They lifted their tentacle. Yes, they said. Then a tall crystal being stood. Yes. A bird-like species chirped softly. Yes, and more hands. Rose. Some slowly, some with pride. One by one, they added their voices. Yes, yes, yes. Even species that once feared humans now voted for them. And then, silence again. Only the elders had not voted. The oldest one stood, his body weak, his voice trembling. You bring chaos, he said. The ambassador nodded once. Sometimes yes, you will burn the old ways, only the broken ones are a danger? The ambassador stepped forward. We are a mirror. If you fear what you see in us, perhaps the fear is in you. The elder paused, then slowly sat down and did not vote. The vote was over. The room waited. The high speaker stood, his face unreadable. He looked at the numbers, the hands raised, at the silent chamber. Then he spoke one word, accepted. No cheers, no music, just silence. But it was the kind of silence that said everything had changed. The human ambassador stepped back. He looked at the black box in his hand, the same box that once carried a warning. Now, it carried something else. Hope. He placed it on the floor and walked away. The council hall slowly emptied. Outside, across the galaxy, screens turned on. A simple message played. Humanity is no longer alone. And neither are you. On a farming moon, an alien child watched the message and smiled. On a distant trade planet, a mechanic nodded and kept working. The parts he used were made by humans now. On a war-torn world, enemies laid down their weapons because Earth had arrived with medicine, water, and tools, and in deep space. Ships flew side by side, human, alien, together, back in Earth's orbit. On a quiet observation deck, the ambassador looked at the stars. A voice behind him asked, "Did we win?" He didn't turn around. "Just watch the stars. We didn't come to win," he said. "Then why did we come?" He smiled. "To remind them who we are." The stars blinked, silent, and across the galaxy, one thought remained, deep in every mind. The council once mocked Earth, but Earth answered not with rage, not with war, but with strength, with truth. And now, because of that answer, the galaxy was never the same again. In the silence that followed, every species understood one thing. Humanity was not just another voice in the council. Humanity had become the reason the council still mattered.